Here we are, ladies and gentlemen. Ahhhhh. Welcome to episode 5 of Radical Rockin' Record Reviews with me, Wild Ride bassist Mick Watkins. And today, guys, we're gonna rank a discography. A great discography, legendary discography of none other than the mighty Van Halen. Here we go, guys. What was it? A couple weeks ago on Facebook, I had this poll asking everybody, asking friends and stuff, everybody, if they would want me to rank the discography of Rat and Roll, or if they would want me to review the rank the discography of Van Halen. And guys, it was close. The score, I believe, was 22 to 20. I think 22 to 20, yeah. And the winners of that was none other than Van Halen. So here today, live, Radical Rockin' Record Reviews, we are going to rank the discography of Van Halen. And notice I said Van Halen, not Van Hagar, except for one album. One album, I mean, look guys, I'm not really a fan of the Van Hagar era at all. I dig Sammy. I dig Sammy's solo stuff. I dig the stuff he did at Montrose. And I like Chickenfoot. Those first two albums are really good to me. But there's really only one album of his era of Van Halen, or Van Hagar, that I dig. So, with that being said, coming in at number 8, none other than 1986's 5150. Good album, guys. Good album. I mean, really, I see, this album musically as the next, evolutionary step from 1984. I mean, it's kind of in that same style. A little different, a little poppier, a little bit more commercial. But still, though, guys, I mean, I think this is a great album. I love this album, actually. And honestly, I think I can hear David Leeroth singing quite a few of these tunes. I mean, it's got some great tunes. Opens up with Good Enough. Could totally hear David Leeroth singing that. Get Up. Summer Nights, dude. I love Summer Nights with my radio. Dude, I love it. Best of Both Worlds. Love Walks In. Good stuff. Really good album, guys. I know there's fans that like it. Some fans despise it and hate Van Hagar. I don't hate it. To me, it's just not my cup of tea. But yeah, I dig this album. I love 5150. I think best track to me, favorite track, would have to be Dreams, dude. I love Dreams. First time I heard Dreams, I think, was on the soundtrack on the movie of Mighty Morphin Power Rangers. At the end and shit, after they beat, what was his name? Ivan Ooze and stuff. Yeah, come on. Yeah, good stuff, guys. So, coming in, number 8, 1986's 5150. All right. Now we're entering the classic David Leeroth era, which includes the 6-pack and the latest release that they did in 2012. So here we go, guys. Entering the classic David Leeroth era. Here we go. My least favorite David Leeroth Van Halen album. Now, I'm going to go ahead and say that I love all the Roth era albums. But with anything, there has to be a least favorite. So with that being said, coming in at number 7 on the list, 1984's 1984. Check it out. Good stuff, guys. And this album really brings back a lot of memories. For me personally, because this was actually when I was maybe 10 or 11 years old. This was the very first Van Halen album that I actually heard, and I absolutely loved it. I remember as a kid, my mom had this. It was like maybe a wicker basket. And it was full of a bunch of cassette tapes. I remember I found Elton John in there. There was some Wang Chung, some Tom Petty, all kinds of awesome stuff from the 80s and the 90s. But the tape that stuck out the most to me, and I wore this thing out, dude, was 1984's 1984. This album brings back lots of memories for me. It has great songs, Jump. Some of these songs are a little bit overkill maybe, because of the radio and stuff, but dude, they're still great classic songs. Jump, Panama, Top Jimmy, Drop Dead Legs, Hot for Teacher, I'll Wait, Girl Gone Bad, House of Pain. This whole album's classic. But my favorite song would definitely have to be the classic Panama. Love it, dude. Not a bad track on this album, but I do feel that it is the weakest David Lee Roth era Van Halen album. So it's coming in number 7, 1984. And here we go. Coming in number 6. Coming in number 6 was the mighty return. Boy, I tell you what, everybody was waiting for this one to come out. Everybody was looking forward to this one coming out. And believe me, it did not disappoint. Van Halen delivered their heaviest album. And it was quite a return to form, actually, after the 90s, the Van Hagar. Then they did VH3 and with Gary Sharon. This was the album everybody had been waiting for since 1984. And they delivered and killed it. And I actually seen them live. The only time I've seen Van Halen live. The opening night of the tour. I'm talking about 2012's mighty, killer, ass-kicking, return-to-form release. Number 6 on the ranking of 2012's A Different Kind of Truth. Dude, this album, I mean, what can you say about it? Van Halen at their heaviest. You have David Lee Roth back. Delivering, honestly, I think, probably the greatest lyrics that he ever did in Van Halen. I mean, some of this shit's just so clever and just off the wall, and you're like, where does he come up with half this shit? But it's so cool. It's so David Lee Roth, one of the greatest frontmen of all time. You got Eddie Van Halen shredding some of his best leads in years, some of his best riffs in years. Alex Van Halen, of course, on drums, always killing it, always steady. And the first album, and sadly only album so far, with Wolfgang Van Halen on bass, which I gotta say, Wolfie, he holds his own on this, does a killer great job over there. I mean, I will admit that I do miss with Michael Anthony, but I mean, him and his bass playing such a signature in Van Halen, his background vocals, great. The only thing that this album lacks is his flair of the songs. But I tell you what, Wolfie holds his own and great tracks. She's the Woman, Tattoo, You and Your Blues, Bullet Head, As Is, Out of Space, Stay Frosty, Beats Working, Big River, and my favorite track on this album, 2012's A Different Kind of Truth, had to be Blood and Fire, dude. And whenever I seen them opening night on this tour, they actually played Blood and Fire. I was pretty pumped. This guy's coming in number 6, Different Kind of Truth from 2012. Good stuff, man. It was a great concert, too. I want to see them again. Come on, guys. What are you doing? Ladies and gentlemen, I think the rock world needs, right here, in 2012, the rock world needs Van Halen. They're definitely a band that's sorely missed. And they're missing out on some great years, man. But at least Roth is still out there kicking ass, which I seen a couple months ago with Kiss on the End of the Road tour. So coming in, now we're cranking the top 5. The top 5 of the mighty Van Halen discography. This was tough. This was definitely tough. I knew right off the bat what my first 2 were, because I mean they've been the same for years. But coming up with the rest of the top 5 was tough because I kept putting them in different orders. And for the past couple weeks, I've really studied these albums, mostly my top 5, because I was like, what order do I, sort these in? What albums do I like more? Well, and here it is, guys, coming in number 5. I finally figured it out, I think. So I'm feeling strongly with this, and I'm gonna go with number 5 from 1980. You know what it is. Coming in. Whoosh. Women and Children First from 1980. Boy, this is a good album, man. Classic. This is a really aggressive album. I think this album and the album that came afterward showed a really kind of aggressive and pissed off and just really heavy sound of them that wasn't on the first 2 albums, really. But this, dude, this is an ultimate party album, man. This album kicks ass. I mean, In the Cradle, Everybody Wants Some, Fools, Tora Tora, Lots of Control, Lots of Control, Lots of Control. Man, good shit. Take your whiskey home. Man, good stuff. My favorite track, favorite track on this album, In a Simple Rhyme. Can't beat it, guys. Can't beat it. Coming in number 5, cracking the top 5 of Van Halen discography ranking. 1980s, Women and Children First. Good stuff. Let me get a quick swig of my Nestle Pure Life real quick. Check it out, guys. Good stuff. Good stuff. All right, top 4. Man, like I said, this list was tough to do. And, you know, I mean, between this one and the last one, I was like, man, which one do I choose? Which one do I choose? And ultimately, I went with this release. There's something about this album. There's something about this album that whenever I put it on, it just makes me feel good. It makes me happy. I mean, this album just, it never really fails to just get me rocking and get my blood pumping. Fuck yeah. I love this album. And, well, with that being said, coming in at number 4 is 1982's Mighty. Different kind of release for them. It's a different album. But it coming number 4, 1982's Diver Down. Check it out, guys. I mean, this album, when I say it's different for them, I mean, there's 12 tracks on this release. 5 of the songs are cover songs. But you know what? The cover songs sound like Van Halen. They don't even sound like cover songs. They sound like Eddie and Alex and Michael and Dave wrote them. They're just as good as the rest of the tracks album, you know. I mean, you have Where Have All the Good Times Gone? Oh, where have all the good times gone? You have Hang 'em High, dude. I love the chorus to Hang 'em High. Cathedral. And on this album, you have quite a few instrumental passages from old Eddie Van Halen. You have Cathedral, Intruder, Little Guitars. I mean, he has some of his coolest instrumental tracks. I mean, it's just fucking killer, dude. I love this stuff. I mean, Hang 'em High, Secrets, I'm Pretty Woman, Dancing in the Street, Little Guitars, Big Bad William is Sweet William now, The Full Bug, and even Happy Trails to You. Good stuff, guys. Good stuff. Favorite track on this album, though? I'm going to go ahead and say that's a toss-up between Secrets and Little Guitars. But thinking about it, I think I'm going to have to go with Secrets. So, coming in number 4, 1982's Diver Down. Top 3. This was pretty easy. I think, for the most part. Kind of battled with that third slot, but, I mean, you cannot deny this record, dude. This record changed rock and roll, gave rock and roll a kick in the ass back in the 70s when it really needed it. I mean, rock and roll in the late 70s was kind of going on a kind of a kilter, man, like a downhill kind of thing. You know, I mean, you had disco music and punk and pop was, it was the rage, and a lot of the rock bands at the time that were huge and carrying the torch were kind of going off in different phases, that I guess didn't connect with fans as much. And this album just completely opened up, whoosh, kicked the floodgates wide open. You know what I'm talking about. Number 3, my third favorite Van Halen album. 1978, I believe. 1978's debut, which a lot of people would have this as number 1. But to me, it's the third best. Maybe because, like, Burnout Factor. Because, man, back in the day, I used to burn this shit up. Because the first Van Halen albums that I had growing up were 1984 and this one. So, you know what I'm talking about. Coming in at number 3, 1978's classic debut, Van Halen. Yeah. I mean, it opens up with Running with the Devil, one of the most classic, just killer Van Halen tracks. Eruption. Fuck, dude. You Really Got Me. That song's alright. I'm really not that crazy about it. Ain't Talking About Love. Dude, Jamie's Crying, Atomic Punk, Little Dreamer, Ice Cream Man. I'm on fire! I'm on fire! Man, good stuff. Good stuff. My favorite track definitely be I Can't Wait to Feel Your Love Tonight. Love it. To me, I guess because I'm such a huge Kiss fan, I hear a lot of Kiss out rock and roll over era vibe in that song. But yeah, I love Feel Your Love Tonight. I love it. So guys, coming to number 3, 1978's classic debut, Van Halen. Now we're getting down to the top 2. The top 2, what you gonna do? And, well, here we go. Top 2, what do you think it is? What do you think it is? You might think you know, but I think you don't. Number 2, guys. 1979's classic, Van Halen II. Absolutely love this album. You no good, you no good, you no good, baby, you're no good. Man, somebody get me a doctor. Bottoms up, bottoms up. I mean, this fucking out of love again. Man, this album's got so many good choruses, dude. I could sing the whole fucking album for it, but you don't want to hear that. You don't want to hear my wannabe David Lee Roth. You're here to see the ranking and my thoughts and opinions on these fucking masterpieces. It's great, dude. I mean, like, the last 3 tracks, epic way to end the album. Epic way to end the album. DOA, Dead or Alive, Dead or Alive. Women in Love opens with the Eddie Van Halen finger tapping. Fucking intro, man, godly, dude. And it ends with Beautiful Girls. Such a great album. This is a great album to crank on in the car. It's fucking warm outside, summertime. Nice, there's beautiful girls walking past. Crank this shit on 11, dude. Great fucking album for partying in the summertime. Awesome stuff, guys. Crank it today. Crank it today if it's nice outside. Blast this shit. With that being said, my favorite track, more than likely, Dance the Night Away. Love it. Little kind of overplayed on the radio, I guess, but dude, I don't ever get tired of it. I love that song. So coming in at number 2, guys, 1979's classic, Van Halen II. So you know, if you've watched if you've stayed with me through all these 8 albums, you know which one's left. And this one was pretty, I knew right off the bat. I was like, what's my favorite Van Halen album? I knew, guys. This album to me, it's just fucking balls out, aggressive. Van, you know, it's this band, this band for the most part has always been known as like a party band, upbeat, feel good mood, and this album still has that, but you can sense some aggression in this record. You can sense there's some frustrations within the band, and I know I've read in the past that like Eddie, just like in a kind of a pissed off, just frustrated vibe, just went to the studio and just knocked this shit out. And you can hear it in David Lee Roth's lyrics. Such great lyrics in Main Street, Dirty Movie, Center Swing, Unchained, Push Comes to Shove, man. 1 foot out the door, 1 foot out the door. You know what I'm talking about. In my opinion, the greatest Van Halen album that they ever released is 1981's epic Brown Sound masterpiece. You know what I'm talking about. You know what I'm talking about, baby. Fair Warning. Fair Warning. I think the band's masterpiece. After this, the band never did anything close to as good as this. I mean, you got Sunday Afternoon in the Park. Just good stuff, guys. I mean, the opening riff to Main Street, shit. You can't beat it, dude. Can't beat it. I'd have to say my favorite track on this album is Hear About It Later, And there's certain times, I like to make these lists. I call them mix picks. Mix picks greatest hits, burnt CDs, where I make my own custom best ofs. And on those, usually, I will do Eruption and then have that fade out and lead in to Hear About It Later. I love that those two just together sound crazy. Sounds killer. I love it. Because like having Eruption play and rip ass and then go fade into that kind of smooth, chorusy intro of Don't Wanna Hear About It Later. Good stuff, guys. So yeah, there's my top 8 discography ranking of Van Halen. I love this band. I'm glad I seen them one time. Got to see them. It's already been 8 years. That's crazy. But this is a band that the rock and roll scene needs back, guys. I mean, I've heard that Eddie's sick with cancer, and we really don't know the truth of that. I mean, some pictures of him don't really look that great. But Roth's out there kicking ass. I think he is. I think he sounds awesome. Probably the best as he could nowadays. You know, with being older and stuff. But guys, if Eddie's sick, I hope and pray that Eddie gets better. And guys, get it back together, man. Get it back together. Go in to the studio and get Michael back, which I know isn't going to happen. Michael Anthony, excuse me. But yeah, you guys just go ahead and do it, man. I mean, even with Wolfie. I mean, I'd rather have Mike Anthony back. But get with Wolfie, man. Get Eddie, Alex, Wolfie, Dave. Get back in the studio. Record one more badass killer record. And go out on a final tour, man. That's what we need. That's what the rock and roll community needs. More Van Halen. They still got it. I know they do. So anyway, guys, thanks for tuning in. If you like this video, subscribe, press the little bell for the notifications, and share the shit out of these videos, guys. Because I love rock and roll music. I love heavy metal. And I just want to spread the word. Spread the word of good tunes and good times. So guys, thanks for tuning in. And let's do a little recap before we adios. Coming in number 1, 1981's Fair Warning. Coming in number 2, 1979's Van Halen II. Coming in at number 3, 1978's Van Halen. Got a little glare going on. Number 4, 1982's Party Classic, Diver Down. Number 5, 1980's. Man, 1980 was such a good year for heavy metal. Man, it was probably one of the greatest years, if not greatest years, in heavy metal. Number 5, like I said, 1980s, Women and Children First. Yours and a simple rhyme. Number 6, 2012's Return to Form, the classic return of David Lee Roth to Van Halen, A Different Kind of Truth. Heavy, really good. Check that out if you missed it when it came out. You won't be disappointed. Number 7, yeah, the Roth era, 1984's 1984, and the bonus album coming in number 8 because I love it so much. I love it. What are you gonna do about it? I love the Van Hagar album. Coming in number 8, guys, 1986's 5150. Good stuff too. Crank It, Summer Nights, Dreams, Get Up, Love Walks In. Good stuff. All right, guys, once again, thanks for tuning in. And I will see you on the next episode when I think the next discography I'm going to review is Rat and Roll. I think it's time to rat and roll. Do you want to rat and roll? I fucking do. I'll see you guys. Cheers. Peace.